Welcome to Retirement with Jim. So today, we're going to talk about what life's all about in retirement in the first 3 years of retirement. As you know, looking at it from year to year to year. So before we get started, if you like my channel, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe. Helps my channel grow. So let's get started. So when you look at retirement, on this channel I talk about, retiring on a modest budget, and you're able to do it. But there's a lot more to retirement than just about your budget and your ability to retire. Like, what are you going to do? So, we want to talk today about some of the things that happen. So, the first thing is you're going to shift from an accumulation mindset to a decumulation mindset. And that is, you are no longer spending and purchasing all kinds of things that you want or are going to get for your life, because you're ready to kind of just enjoy, that part of your life, the retirement phase, and it's not about buying additional things. So first thing is, in year one, it's kind of the financial shock. What you're spending, your taxes, surprise spending, often do not, your spending does not often decrease as expected. So, you have to kind of make some adjustments in that first year. And you're going to travel, hopefully, home projects, maybe helping family. Probably the smartest thing to do is create a detailed budget and track every dollar that you spend for 90 days to really truly identify where your cash flow is, what you're spending your money on, so you have a clear understanding of, how much money you're going to spend. So, and along with that, taxes. And once you retire, taxes in retirement is really a very complex issue. You need to get help. You have to have a good tax person to really help you, so that you really can understand the things that you will do and what the tax implications are going to be. So it's important to have a thorough understanding of your taxes, because if not, you could end up getting hurt by taxes more than you think. So along with that, having that emergency fund, you want an emergency fund because you want cash that is easily accessible. Cash that is, 12 to 18 months worth of, possible expenses. You want to be prepared for a possible market turndown, in your first year of retirement, so that you aren't going and getting more money out of your 401k and your investments than you need to. So having that money accessible in an emergency fund makes a lot of sense. And then next thing is, having some routines, to replace your 9-to-5 job. And let's face it, you really do. You need to be prepared for what life is like in retirement and what you're going to do. Many people get bored after the first, year, and into year two, they consider going back to work. So check on having a plan and some routines about what you're going to do, so that if going back to work isn't something you do not necessarily out of necessity of money, but out of more of a necessity to avoid boredom. Excuse me. Some people want to go back to work. Others, they're not. It's not never will be on their agenda. Excuse me. But a surprising amount of people, over 15%, go back to work, which is, not a crime in itself. But if you're going back because you're just bored, well, then maybe you didn't put together a plan that was going to be really useful to you. Next on the list is, especially when you first retire, be careful on how much money you give to your children or your grandchildren until you have a firm grasp on what your cash flow is going to be. Because you don't want to give away money. Get it, it's your family, you love them, but they'll eventually get your money. And you may, in today's world, you want to make sure that your money is going to last. So before you're quick to pull the trigger on giving money away, make sure you really understand in that first year what your cash flow is going to be, and hesitate on that decision about giving family money. Don't be an ATM. And keep in mind that the first year is a test run in your retirement. It's not a final decree. So what it means is that you can and should make adjustments over time. But your first year can certainly give you some insights as to where you're headed and what you're doing, but it's not written in stone. So keep that in mind. Now, the year two, kind of like the honeymoon period is over, and you settle into a more calmer routine. Things you do day to day, things that you have found to do. So you're going to make adjustments. For instance, you're going to look at actual numbers versus projected spending numbers. So you'll have a better understanding of that. It'll also allow you to have better understanding of taxes. You'll have paid your taxes for your first year. Going into your second year, you'll have a better look at what's in store for you. And it'll also tell you if you need to get some tax help and some financial help, to make sure that you're, not doing any damage to your portfolio and, to your long-term success of your money. Your first year, you went from resting from work. And your second year is more about finding new sustainable purposes. For some, it is part-time work. They feel a lot more useful. Others may find out that, okay, they maybe didn't have as much of a firm grasp on the money, and they need to supplement a little to make sure that they're feeling comfortable with their decision. There's also volunteering and hobbies. So there are things in your second year that you're going to find you're going to want to do more of. And then along with that, maybe spending more time with family, friends, projects, home projects, things that you want to do. And so it's important to have, a look at retirement, because as much as it is, of course, about money, and making sure that you are well prepared and your money's going to be out there for as long as you need it to be out there. It's also about what are the other things you want to do and enjoy for yourself. I have been retired now this is my third year. Well, in my third year, I'm just finding that I actually want to do a little bit more traveling than I have. There are a list of places I want to go visit, and I plan to. But beyond that, I'm also really enjoying the decision to really have to do nothing. Much more steady routine of finding that it's okay to do nothing, and finding different routines that I'm enjoying, So, and at the end of year two and you're going into year three, it's probably time to start looking at your health coverage and your health plan. How do you feel? How's your health? Have you slowed down a lot? Have you just slowed down a little? Are you staying really active? How does your health feel to you? Because as you go into year three, you're going to maybe start to have a better understanding of what your health is like and what might be in store for you. Do you need to reassess the health plan? Do you need to take a look at that and go, okay, am I still good? Am I still feeling great? Or are some things starting to affect me where I might have to see the doctor more, or take a look at, what you might be spending, on your long-term health. Because you don't want any surprises with that. You want to be able to, because that can be a costly endeavor. So you want to make sure that you're feeling good. And it pays to review what your health coverage is and what your plan is. So that's kind of the first 3 years of retirement. And so it's important to take a look. And like I said, it's not always about money. Money is important, but what's your plan? So the more you plan and the better you look and review, the better you're going to feel about your retirement, and you're going to enjoy it a whole lot more. So tell me what you think in the comments below. What's your first couple to 3 years of retirement looking like, or what is it going to look like? I'd love to hear from you. So with that, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.